Mount Zion and Mount of Olives outside of Jerusalem's Old City are known as famous burial sites close to prime locations such as the Last Supper Room and King David's tomb, and overlooking the Temple Mount.
There are a lot of graveyards on Mount Zion. We have the Protestant, we have the Catholic, we have the Greek, we have the Armenian. And when we talk about the Jewish cemetery, we usually talk about the cemetery on Mount Olive. And among all the cemeteries on Mount Zion, we have the Jewish cemetery, best known as Sambusky, which is right over there. Behind me, we have the valley called Gei Ben Hinnom, which starts somewhere next to the old city, next to the Tower of David, and goes all the way till it connects to the valley of the Kidron, and they both go straight to the Dead Sea.
A famous cemetery on the top of Mount Zion is the Catholic Cemetery, where we can find the tomb of Oskar Schindler. But there is another cemetery which is less familiar to the wider public, the Sambusky Cemetery. This Jewish graveyard is dedicated to the unknown fallen, mainly poor people who couldn't afford to purchase a proper burial site. We can mainly find empty stones without any names on them.
The Sambusky Cemetery didn't always have tombstones like other cemeteries. Some people didn't have enough money even to buy a simple stone. Some people just bought a simple stone and put it on the grave, and some people didn't have even that. And if you come here towards the end of the summer, you see that the entire field is filled with squirrels. They put plants on the cemetery, and that plant usually at the end of the summer.
Another interesting object in the cemetery is a burial cave known in Hebrew as Gniza, which was used to store ancient texts and manuscripts.
Behind me, there's an ancient burial cave, maybe from the Second Temple period. As far as I know, it was never properly excavated. What we do know, for the past maybe even 300 or 400 years, there's a tradition of the Gniza. The Gniza is a very ancient tradition, very ancient halacha. Gniza meaning that we bury any holy scripts we have. 100 years ago, Professor Rabbi Yuda Leib Magnus, the president of the Hebrew University, and he went to those caves with the Parnas family, who opened the cave for him, and he went and dig inside the cave to look for books. Unfortunately, the climate here, unlike the climate in the desert and other places, is very wet, and it destroyed, the moisture destroyed all the books, and he found very little books that could be read.
Every year, the Hevra Kadisha, the Burial Foundation of Israel, holds a special ceremony here in tribute to the unknown casualties of Jerusalem. This location, which seems a bit neglected and deserted, is more evidence of the complexity of Jerusalem and the Holy Land, between the holy and the ordinary, the iconic and the unknown.